I'm up through the night, and that happens quite a lot. I just get up, make myself a cup of tea, attend to myself, watch TV a bit, then go back again. And what people don't understand is that COVID is not going away. It is not going away. And I wrap up well because air is so important. The foul air. And the windows are always open. And that's going to cost me. But cardigans is a way of keeping warm. Because it is important, even in winter, that you've got the flow of air going through. And there's so many other things that have to be attended to. And I'm going to keep on attending to them. I'm going to keep publishing and saying to people about all the things that they're not doing, they should be doing. And I'm just going to carry on. The reason that I've come back in is to speak to the journalists, Polly Toynbee and Amelia Fox. And yet again, they're having another go at Mr. Trump. And they seem to assume that the people who actually voted for Mr. Trump don't really have much sense or don't understand or whatever. But there's something that the world does not understand, and that is the power of the man who made this world. How can they feel that they've got intelligence if they don't fear volcanoes, electricity, all of these things? But there's many things that people have been doing to clog up to the neck this world. But this is something that even royals, you've just lost Prince Philip. Don't tell me that nobody has been affected at Windsor Castle by that, or that the world doesn't realise just what contribution he gave from the very, very beginning, and the sacrifices that you've both had to make. And if I speak and say that I have worked for Edward and Andrew, and also Sophie, and I see that she's now joined in because actual menstruation, it must be recorded properly. People have to be. Somebody has to stand up for somebody. But I'll be in touch, because what I said to ex-King Constantine about the Elgin marbles, etc. These are all publicly owned. These are charities, and British Museum is not getting away with it. In this circumstance, they have to give back, because you cannot do that to a nation like Greece and expect them to still entertain tourists and make money. And I'll be continuing. That's something that I gained in the middle of the pandemic, that understanding. And so therefore I'm saying to both of these journalists to understand from all journalists that you can't keep having a go at Mr. Trump, that he is not a politician, he's a businessman. And the way forward to what our next life is going to be all about, I have a summation that it won't be the same circumstances that we have for the world today. And the circumstances are that, yes, there will be politicians still, but also it won't affect the whole world. There'll be different ways that we will govern everything. And that's just my understanding. That's just my reasoning could be right, could be wrong, and I could die within the next minute. However, as long as I'm still alive, that's what I'm saying. And Mr. Trump goes on about truth. He goes on about the fake news. He goes on about the swamp. And he deals with priorities, okay? And that these are priorities. If people think that you can have a voting and that there's no corruption there, or government and politicians, that there's no corruption. Anybody who's looked after by anybody, dictatorship or whatever, it's going to be flawed and it's going to have problems. So we're going into a new world. We're actually in Scotland going into freedom. And when we go into freedom, we have to figure out what kind of democracy we're going to have. And that's why I've come back in. And this is going out on YouTube. And that's it. That's it.